Hi, my name is Dagmar, and I'm a clairvoyant spiritual healer, reader, and speaker and author. And I am here to talk to you today about what exactly is spiritual healing and what are its benefits. And there are so many different healing therapies out there, it can be very confusing. And I'm just going to mention a few that I know. Like we have the conventional mainstream psychotherapy or counseling. We have your, life coach or life coaches. We have energy healing such as Reiki or healing with herbs or essential oils. Or we have alternative healing methods or therapies like chiropractic or acupuncture. Of course, we have our mainstream regular healthcare system. And then we have, sometimes I talk to religious people about spiritual healing and they tell me, well, I pray and I use prayer for healing. So that's another method of, doing some healing. And all have their very unique benefits. But I am here to talk to you a little bit about a different method of spiritual healing that I've come to know and that is very, very effective and that I specialize in. And, that I call spiritual healing. Now, by spiritual, I want to clarify, I do not mean religious. I simply mean by spiritual all things as they relate to our spirit or our soul, because I have a vast understanding of our spiritual realm and what the soul wants and needs and how it operates. And, religion is neither a requirement nor a hindrance in working with me in terms of spiritual healing. Now, as far as, prayer, prayer has a certain place, just like everything else. And, it's kind of like saying, well, I pray, so therefore I don't need ever a massage. And, I can tell you right now that a massage will do very different things for you than prayer will. Or, hey, I pray, so therefore I don't need a chiropractor to align my spine. And that goes the same for spiritual healer. I am here for a reason, and I have certain understanding, certain knowledge, certain perspective that with which I can help you. And perhaps your prayer has attracted me into your life, or has attracted that certain kind of chiropractor or massage therapist into your life that you need in order to resolve what you've been praying for resolving. And so don't disregard that. In other words, it's all everything that you drawn into your life, or that's in your life, in your space, all the people, you've drawn them there for a reason. So don't disregard them. They're there because you prayed over something. Okay, so anyway, so much for the aspect of prayer. And I think it's a great thing, and it's got its place, and it probably is, trying to help you resolve what you asked to resolve. And, I might be a big part of it. I mean, there is a reason you're watching this video, right? You drew that into your space for a reason. So what is, spiritual healing? To me, it's a way of basically reconciling with yourself on a deep spiritual level and bringing your soul back into being whole and cohesive, in a cohesive state of being once again, so that it can function or you can function to your full capacity that you're capable of. See, I hear people sometimes talk about how they're broken, or they're no good because they have all this baggage and blah, blah, blah. And, I have not met one single person okay, that has not experienced some kind of pain in their life. Because, that's what happens in our normal course of our journey in living, is we experience pain and trauma. And when we experience pain and trauma, sometimes it shatters our soul and it creates dysfunction in our soul because we don't fully digest our experiences, because the pain perhaps is too intense, and or we don't want to deal with it in that moment or can't deal with it in that moment. And so that's what creates the dysfunction in our life. That's what is the baggage, is the unresolved pain in your life. And it's the normal course of us living in the third dimension, okay? And it's designed for us to learn. But when we don't digest our experience fully, we simply don't learn from the experience, because what happens is that the primary goal of our soul is to learn from our experiences. But we can't do that until we digest them and complete them. And so in the meantime, as we kind of shove the experience because we don't want to deal with it, and becomes this unresolved thing hanging in our soul, unresolved business or incomplete business or whatever you call it, baggage, there's a couple of things that happen with that. It actually takes energy to hold this pain in place. So it's actually taking away from your spiritual energy that you use to live life with. And so the more of these unresolved experiences you carry, the less and less energy you have to live life with. And you can really feel the difference when you have experienced, for example, a number of significant traumas in a very short period of time, and all of a sudden your energy drops to the level where you can't properly function in life anymore. And it's because of this phenomena, because your spiritual energy suddenly became so much less that you just have a difficult time functioning, and life becomes hard, nothing flows, things are stagnant, you're feeling stuck, or whatever the case may be. So that's one thing that happens. It actually takes away our spiritual energy, because now we have to hold it in place, all this pain we have that we haven't fully resolved. The second thing that happens that people are not aware of is that we actually manifest with our unresolved experiences. Okay, a lot of people talk about, watch what you're thinking, because you're going to create that in your life. Well, it's not quite that simple, because I don't believe it's directly our thinking that actually creates things. It's actually our intention, and it's related with our thinking. But if we have, say for example, a wish or an intention to, say become wealthy in our lives, and at the same time we have unresolved experiences in our spiritual field that deal with poverty and unworthiness and whatever else that may be hindering us from creating the kind of wealth that we want, it will overpower our thinking or intention of wanting to be wealthy anytime, because the painful experience that you're carrying that's unresolved, I can guarantee you, has far more charge and emotion behind it than you can ever put behind your intention of wanting to have the wealth, say for example. Okay, so we actually manifest with our unresolved experiences. And the reason is this: because our soul wants to learn from our experiences, but it can't actually do that until you digest your experience. Okay, it's much kind of like eating a piece of broccoli. When you eat the broccoli, your body doesn't get the nutrients out of that broccoli until you digest the broccoli. And it's much the same on a soul level. And so therefore, what your soul does is it helps you keep recreating these unresolved experiences in your life. And so through circumstances or drama or patterns or relationship issue, and you will draw just the right people in to help you create this unresolved stuff, and you manifest it in your life. And the soul does that in hopes that you will reconnect with the past unresolved experience and finally digest it so you can actually learn from it. So that's how that works. So that's why we manifest with our unresolved experiences. So what I do in a healing session basically with you is I help you digest those unresolved experiences that are directly related to whatever it is you're trying to resolve. Okay, because you are guaranteed manifesting that in your life right now. Okay, and so what happens when we resolve that incomplete experience, you're actually shifting your energy within yourself, or changing it, and so therefore then you can manifest something different in your reality. Okay, and so basically what I do with you is I work with you on in a light meditative state with your subconscious mind, and I guide you through your own healing experience to find where these unresolved experiences are based on whatever the dysfunction is in your life that you want to resolve. And I help you call in the right energies to help you actually digest it. I also help you reintegrate any soul pieces you might have split away. Sometimes that happens. We shatter our soul if the pain is too intense. And I help you, discover decisions that you may have made in those instances of time where you experienced pain that you still might be running under today, but that don't serve you any longer today. And then you can change them, or help you change them in that moment. I also help you maybe dissolve spiritual contracts you might have with other souls, other people that you still might be living out, that are no longer necessary or that can be dissolved. So I help you do that. So there's a lot of work that can go into a spiritual healing session. And I also find that a huge part of healing is basically awareness. Just by becoming aware of an experience you've had and bringing it all to your consciousness and taking a lesson from it. I help you also take the lesson out of whatever the experience is, and bring it into consciousness is like a huge part of the healing process. So when we're going through like energy healing where there is hardly any awareness there, I mean, it works to a certain degree, but then I find that on a spiritual level at some point you're going to need and want the awareness. Your soul does, your spirit does. Okay, because that's how you actually learn and grow spiritually. So that's kind of like what healing is. It's also, it's a way of transforming energy, if you will. Okay, some healers talk about clearing the negative energy, getting rid of it. You don't want to get rid of your energy. What you want to do is transform it. It's kind of like what we're doing is transforming pain into wisdom. Okay, is how we're transforming it. And it's kind of a similar process as when you say, for example, eat the broccoli and you digest it. So what happens to the broccoli? What happens? What does the broccoli become? I mean, it's no longer broccoli. It basically becomes nutrition for your body, and so it has a different form. See, it's much the same way with when we transform in a spiritual healing session of pain to wisdom. It becomes something different. It's no longer pain, and therefore it doesn't manifest itself in your life the way it did. Okay, because it becomes different. It's a different form. All right, it's different energy. All right, and that's kind of what I help you do in a spiritual healing type session. Additionally, when we talk about spiritual growth, all right, you're actually, through a spiritual healing session with me, you are spiritually growing. And not just in the spiritual sense, but you're actually growing in mass, in energetic mass. Your spiritual energy is becoming more. And also, you're actually regaining the energy from those unresolved experiences that I spoke about, where we're holding them in place with that energy. You're actually getting those back, that energy, to be able to use it in your everyday life and to create a life and make a living and so forth. Okay? So you're actually getting that energy back. But you're actually growing in mass and spirit. There's becoming more of you there energetically, okay, as a result of a healing. So, again, I don't actually heal you. You heal yourself. Only you can heal you, okay? What I do in the work with you is I guide you through your own healing experience, because I have the understanding what happens on a soul level, how your spiritual energy works, and how to guide you through the subconscious process to help you digest a certain experience and so forth, okay? And so I'm your guide in a way, and so I guide you through that process. So you see that spiritual healing can be quite a bit of internal work. And, the key is that you are ready for that kind of work. And, want to do that kind of work, and I can tell you it's extremely, extremely effective, okay, because we're accessing, the core of where the problem actually lies, and I can guarantee you it's not in the physical realm, it's in your spiritual realm, okay? And some of these experiences that I talk about, the unresolved experiences, some of them are in this lifetime for you, and some of them may lie in a past lifetime or previous lifetime for you. And I understand that some of you may not believe in past lives or don't know if you have past lives, and it doesn't really matter whether you believe it or not. I can tell you that most likely you have lived past lifetimes, unless you're such a new soul, this is your first lifetime you've ever lived. But we don't get just one try at things, okay? We get many try at trying to learn our lessons. And, the process I use to discover these unresolved experiences is the same with past lives as I do in your present life. It's just the experience is a little bit further down on the time track. And I can tell you that you have all the memories of all your past lives, all your past experiences. They're all there. It's just a matter of recalling them. And I know you can't readily recall it if you don't understand how to, but I can guide you through the process of doing that. And usually people who are ready, I have no problem with them seeing their past life experiences. And it's like it happened yesterday. And again, you don't have to know all this. You don't have to know your past lives. You don't have to know what you've lived or where you've lived or what your experiences were. In the healing session with me, I guide you through the process of discovering all of that. Okay? So all you have to know is your symptoms and what you want to change about your life. Okay? So, anyway, in a nutshell, spiritual healing is really deep soul work, completing your unresolved experiences and reconciling with yourself. And I help you do that. And some of you may say, well, I don't want to rehash my past. I really want to forget about my past. I don't like my past, and I don't want to go there again. Well, here's the irony about that whole statement is that you're going to rehash it one way or another, okay? Either you come to a healing session with like what I do, okay, and you actually complete your experience that way in a fairly short amount of time, very inexpensively, or on a soul level, you're going to recreate your past, okay? And your soul is gonna do it through a matter of whatever drama in your life, your circumstances in your life, and it's going to recreate, and you're going to keep reliving your past, okay, until such time that you digest it and take the wisdom out of it. And that's just how it works on a soul level, whether you want it to or not. So you either going to put some initial effort into it and be proactive and have a healing session, like I say with Dagmar or a similar healer like myself, or you're going to keep reliving that past of yours. And it can happen sometimes over many lifetimes. It can take months, it can take years, it can take lifetimes before we finally extract our lesson from it and so forth and resolve it. So it's up to you. So when you're talking about you don't want to rehash your past, well, you're much better off going into a healing session and completing it very quickly and efficiently in that sense, in 1 to 2 hours or whatever, and instead of spending months and months and years and lifetimes reliving it. I mean, it's your choice. But that's how it works on a spiritual level. And it's kind of like gravity. When you jump off the building, you're going to fall down, not up. And I just have that kind of knowledge about it, whether you want to accept it or not. So, understand that basically, drama in your life is nothing more than your recreation of your unresolved trauma. Okay, that's what drama is. Whether it's that we attract the person who is abusive to us and we create this dramatic relationship, it's us trying to resolve our past unresolved issues around relationships. Okay. Most likely you're rehashing your past right now by living whatever circumstances you're living that are not working for you. So anyway, I just want to give you maybe a few examples of the kinds of things you can shift energetically. Like, for example, I had a recent client that was going through a very difficult divorce. I was very afraid of losing her 2-year-old son to her ex, who was abusive, and the divorce proceedings were favoring him, and she was very afraid to lose her son. And I told her, I said, what's happening there circumstantially for you is probably something you're recreating on a soul level of some unresolved things you're carrying, and if you do some healings, we can probably shift the energy around it and get you the results you want. And so she did. She had 3 to 4 healing sessions with me, and after about the 4th session, and mind you, we were healing past lifetimes for her, and after about the 4th session, things turned around such that her ex ended up giving her everything she wanted, and she didn't even have to take him to court. Okay? You could say, well, it's coincidence. Well, yeah, could be, but I don't believe in coincidences. Another example is, I had a female client who was attracting men into her life who didn't love her. She did some healing with me, and we discovered that in her childhood she had internalized the fact that her father had left the family because of the divorce that her parents went through, that she just wasn't lovable, because her father left. That's the decision she made. And, when we did the healing, we discovered the decision. She changed it, and so then, therefore, she could attract men who now loved her. And because energetically she was carrying the fact that she was unlovable. That's what she had decided. And so the men into her that came in, that she attracted into her life, basically mirrored to her how she felt about herself. Okay? And so when she changed that, then she could attract different men that mirrored something different to her. Okay? Another interesting healing that I had with a client is someone who had experienced a marriage with an alcoholic. Those are very difficult, very painful. And she had at some point divorced her husband and was living now on her own, and was, buying regular healing sessions with me. And all of a sudden her ex showed up back in her life and telling her he's no longer drinking, and he came to stay at her house because he was out of state and was thinking about moving into the state. And so all of a sudden she discovers 2 weeks into him living there that he actually is drinking, and all this stuff started manifesting itself over again that she experienced with him in her marriage. And so I told her, whatever is going on there, let's heal that energy around it from your end and see if we can shift what's going on there, because she was starting to get devastated why she even, believed him and called him into his life and all this stuff, and it was really frightening her. And so we did some healing sessions, healing her marriage and, her experiences around the alcohol. And, it was interesting because it wasn't until we actually discovered that she had a past lifetime in which she had been an alcoholic, and we healed that lifetime for her. And it was amazing because once we healed that lifetime for her, he stopped drinking and has not picked up alcohol since. Okay? So what happened here is that he was mirroring to her the pain of that lifetime that she had around herself being an alcoholic. And once she healed that, it freed him up as a soul to move on and heal himself from the alcohol. All he was doing on a soul level was mirroring that to her. And I bet you this entire marriage she experienced was about the mirror of her own lifetime that she had not resolved. So many years of her, difficult marriage to an alcoholic was about her past lifetime she had not resolved around alcohol. It's an eye-opener sometimes with how much we create on an energetic level with unresolved experiences. Another example is I've dealt with a few clients with Lyme disease now. And in each case, it's a very debilitating disease, and they weren't able to get any help anywhere else, including the mainstream healthcare system. And we probably, did about 10 sessions with each one of them, and were able to get rid of all the Lyme disease symptoms. And in each case we were healing past lifetimes. Okay, so it's an interesting process, and I can tell you that it's very effective, very effective. So what are the benefits of spiritual healing? There's so many of them. Where do you even begin? One, you can change your circumstances, like shift court cases and what happens in court. I've done that on a number of occasions now. You can change who and what you attract into your life. Perhaps you want to stop attracting that abusive boyfriend, or perhaps you just want to improve your relationship with your husband that you have. Perhaps once in your life you want to feel loved and appreciated and supported. And I can guarantee you that the people in your life who are not appreciating you, not loving you, not supporting you, are mirroring to you how you already feel about yourself deep down. And if you can shift that, I can guarantee you that they will change how they behave towards you, and you will attract different people into your life. And that's how it works. Maybe money isn't readily flowing into your life, or not enough. And money is energy, and it's flow. And if it's not flowing, you're blocking it somewhere. And perhaps you need to open up, where you're not able to receive. Sometimes we block receiving for ourselves. Or perhaps you have difficulty with your success. Maybe you hit a financial ceiling every time and you can't get beyond or above that. Again, you're blocking it somewhere with your energy, and I can help you resolve that. Or perhaps you suffer from depression or anxiety or panic attacks, or chronic physical pain or anger or whatever. And whatever it is, though, if it's not working in your life, it can be spiritually healed, guaranteed. So often we talk about we create our spiritual reality, and it's so much more true than you actually realize. That mother-in-law that is a thorn in your side, you've attracted her there. The accident, the car that hit you, rear-ended you while you were standing on at a traffic light, you attracted that. You created that with your spiritual energy. The fact that you live almost in poverty and you're not receiving any money coming in, you create that. You are creating that. Maybe you're suffering some debilitating illness. You are creating that. Okay? And by the same token, you can change it. And sometimes we just need to have the specialized knowledge and how to, because it can be a little complex, and that's where I specialize in. I can help you do that. So what is it that you are suffering from? Is it work-related issue, money issues, illness, depression, pain, anxiety, fear, different patterns that don't serve you, attachments, addictions? Perhaps you've experienced a lot of losses, or you're feeling stuck, or you want to find yourself, or you want to gain more clarity in your life and who you are. Perhaps you have relationship issues, or perhaps you have self-esteem issues, or perhaps you just met your twin flame and they're mirroring all kinds of goodies to you. So anyway, I'm a clairvoyant reader as well as a spiritual healer, and may I suggest that for only $50, you can schedule with me 30 minutes, a clairvoyant reading and a consultation, in which I can help you establish some clarity in your circumstances and what's going on for you, and how you can possibly change it, and you can get a feel for me and see if the energy feels right for us to work together to help you, change what you want to change in your life. And just to give you some insight about my healing sessions, my healing sessions generally are 90 minutes in length. The first session I like to do an evaluation and go over all the symptoms that you're experiencing, determine all the areas in your life that are troublesome, and what you have on your plate this life from pain and trauma standpoint. What are you carrying just from this life? And then we look at your goals. What do you want to accomplish? And then I basically check in with my spirit and give you an estimated minimum number of sessions that it might take to help you get to where you want to go and resolve some of this stuff. So you have some idea what is it going to take, and we're not spending years and years working on something that's never working. I'm very result oriented. I always look for getting you the results you want, and what I do is extremely effective. And I always work in conjunction with my spirit, your spirit, and in both of our highest good. And so that's a little bit about me. And based on the number of sessions that we determine, I also offer package deals where I discount the per session rate significantly for you to make it even more reasonable. And sometimes some of you may say, well, I don't know if I can afford this. Well, my question to you is, can you afford not to do this? I mean, granted that we all make money, unless you're so down and out that you have no job and you're homeless and you have nothing to eat and no options out there, which can happen too. There's people out there, and it's unfortunate. But we all make a certain amount of money. Whether it's enough or not, that's another question. But the fact is, you will spend the money you make on something. Okay? And the question is, what you're spending it on, is it making a difference for you? If it's not making a difference for you, you might consider redirecting some of the money you're spending into something like, spiritual healing that will make a difference for you. Okay? Because bottom line, you'll spend all your money no matter what. I mean, even if you don't plan it, sometimes, the refrigerator breaks so that you can spend your money. I mean, it will go. So you might as well direct it into the direction you want it to go. Bottom line is that sometimes it's a priority. You have to prioritize it. So if you understand the benefit you can get from a spiritual healing with someone like myself, then it can be a lot less costly actually to do a healing session with me than try to resolve it, like I say, through drama in your regular life, which may take years, months, whatever, and not get what you want for a long time. So anyway, bottom line, it's a priority, and that's the only prerequisite that I have for people. You have to be open to working on yourself, and you have to make yourself a priority in order to shift your life. And it's really your responsibility, not mine. Like I say, I'm guiding you through it, but you have to want to do that. I'm also a speaker, and so if you have a group of people that I could possibly talk in front of and help understand some things, I appreciate being able to speak and teach and help people understand this, because it's wonderful when we can change our life for the better. It's a beautiful thing, and it's my passion. That's how I help. That's the difference that I want to make with people. And I have a talent in that area. I have a gift in that area. So anyway, hopefully this helped, and I wish you all the best, and perhaps you and I can get to know each other at some point, or connect, or perhaps not. But in any case, I wish you all the best. Namaste.